What's going on, guys? It's Goose from the Wise Wealth Discord, coming back at you with another watch list. I know I'm a little bit late. I was pretty busy this weekend, but I still wanted to go over some of the good looking charts that we have. We finally had some bullish momentum coming through, which is really good. We do have a huge economic week coming up. JOLTS job openings on Tuesday, tomorrow. ADP, non-farm employment change, GDP. GDP is the one I'm a little bit worried about based off what the Atlanta Fed had. They already were projecting a negative GDP. Usually they're not too far off, so we'll see what comes in. Employment cost index Wednesday. Unemployment claims comes in Thursday. ISM manufacturing Thursday as well. And then Friday we finish with the unemployment rate, non-farm employment change. So we have a lot of red folder news. And then as Jimmy was showing on the Discord, let me pull that up really quick. We have quite a bit of earnings as well. So we'll see how these all go. Apple, Amazon coming in on Thursday. Microsoft Wednesday. Robinhood will be a good one. Snap is always a huge mover. Altria, Tobacco, UPS, kind of see where the consumer's at with UPS. We'll see how that goes. Spotify, they've been a killer on our long-term portfolio. Reddit, I like them long-term as like a good growth stock. I think they have quite a bit of good things going on. So we'll see how earnings comes in, but just a very, very busy week, as you can see, the economic calendar and then just earnings in general. We have a lot going on, but as you can see this morning, we have kind of a false breakout on IWM. I thought it was going to break above, but flagging up nicely nonetheless. Even if it does come into like this 190 area, I think it's going to be a beautiful area to catch something. I'm remaining patient right now. QQQ is in a rising wedge. They look to be possibly falling out. This is the first time I've really made a video while the market's open, so that always gives me a little bit more data about like where we're heading and stuff like that. SPY, another kind of like rising wedge pattern. They had their breakout of their flag, but just be careful when it starts to get like inch up like that and you see the RSIs going down. That's a clear divergence right there. You could see that it's making lower highs on the RSI, but then higher highs here. It's showing that it's signaling a weak trend, a weakening in trend, and a possible reversal. And as you can see, we're starting to get that sell side now at the top of that range. It came out strong, and now we're just kind of dumping. So we'll see how we close the day out, but just there's so much things going on where you kind of want to remain patient on a Monday, especially. It's just not a lot of volume. If you look at the volume right now, we're at 5.6 on the Qs. Our average volume is 56 million, so we're not even close. It's just going to be kind of probably a choppy day to down day. A little digestion is much needed. But we got that huge bullish move that we did want out of the stocks and kind of where they were at. Apple still has some space to go. It looks like a double top right now, but get above 211, that would look awesome. Microsoft, they're finally getting above their 50-day moving average. This was a huge level of resistance. Kind of coming back and retesting it. As you can see, this is a huge chop zone. 400 ultimately was my price target, and a lot of these moving averages up above is kind of where we're at now. So they're trying to build something out. You can see the bulls, created that higher low right here, and then they're trying to get that higher high now. Nvidia, same thing, a lot weaker than a lot of some of the other big tech names. Nvidia hasn't really performed very well. Still in a clear downtrend, so the trend is down. I wouldn't try and be like the hero here and just buy a bunch of calls on Nvidia. Personally, I feel like we do have another leg lower. Like when I go to the Qs and IW and SPY and stuff, it's coming into a huge level of resistance. You could see right here is where that flag ultimately broke down. Now it's retesting it. But with that death cross, I was expecting it to retest because almost 100% of the time, the last like 10 times it's ever had a death cross in indexes, they always come back to retest it. And I truly believe that's kind of what we're in the midst of now. So I'm not trying to get overly aggressive like bullish, but you have to take it for what it is. And it's like we have moved quite a bit off the bottoms. From the absolute bottom, we're up 14% on SPY. From the absolute bottom on Qs, I believe it's like around 18%. So it's like that's a big jump, and you don't want to be missing those. And if, say, we come back and test these, but we never actually break lower, that's a pretty big, significant jump that you could be missing out. So I always preach the importance of staying invested and staying the course, and that's part of the reason why. I mean, sentiment can change so fast, price action can change very fast. But right now, I think we're just due for some digestion just with how big of a move we've had since then, which is good. Overall, I still think we're kind of bullish on IWM, QQQ. You want to see this held. If it does start to break below, we could start to come test some of these levels again. 465 would be a good level of support. Anything above 475 would be good because we're right in that resistance area. You could see where we have a heavy level of resistance. And then like the RSI is kind of weakening too. It's not as bad of a divergence, but it's definitely not making higher highs as high as the chart is showing. So we'll keep an eye on it as we go throughout the week. I still am short term bullish, but like a little bit mid-term. I'm not really as bullish. I still think a lot of the charts were just very overdue for a bounce, and this could be another dead cat bounce just to be sold into. NVIDIA, one of the weaker names. Tesla's been pretty strong, but they still need to get above that bear flag breakout. You can see clearly that they have this bear flag forming. You get above that 300 level, you can move pretty quick. I mean, there's not much liquidity in this area. You can see that they moved right through and shot right through. So it's like there's not a lot of price action between like 300 and about 330. So if they do start to mount that level, it's going to look very, very bullish for Tesla. Meta, Jimmy was saying this morning, they have some catching up to do. Still kind of flagging in a huge way. If they do get above, I would say about 570, 560 area, you can move into the 200-day moving average, which is at 580. Anything above that, I mean, it's to be very tough resistance where they're at right now. It's just very strong resistance. They had this range, then they built this out. So it's like you got resistance right in this area around the 580 range. So be careful just getting into heavy longs at this moment. I feel like your moment for longs was that pullback that they had. Now it's kind of like wait and see. Do the bulls have validity here? That's kind of how I'm seeing it. AMD, same thing. Very similar to like Tesla and Meta, where they have like a nice bear flag like base trying to build out. And if you do start to get above these big levels of resistance, I mean, you don't have much holding you back. You could see that this is a clear level of resistance right here that they tried to hold support. Now it's having difficulties. But if we do break above these levels, say the economic data comes out good, earnings is good, then we're going to have a pretty big bullish push to play off of. But until that happens, I like to remain patient. Google, they had great earnings, spectacular numbers. They have a 50 billion buyback that's happening. They came back and retested this base that they have. So I kind of like that movement. Hopefully they can kind of find buyers here to end the day. Hopefully get above this 50-day moving average, and then you can come test these earnings highs at like 170. As we know, like in the Discord, the earnings base and break is one of our favorite plays. So if it could start to base out here, we would love that because then it gives you pretty much a ideal setup when it does break above price action. But you like these break retests. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's how we played IWM last week. Made a solid like $3,000 off of that break and retest. So just be careful, be watching out for those. When you do see that, it's just a really good sign. It was this one right here where it broke above this flag, and I wanted to see it come into this 190 area, exactly what happened, and it ended up having a 2% day. But we'll see. IWM's trying to battle back again, get above that previous high. If we could maintain above 195.50, 196, it's going to be a pretty bullish look. Good indicator for risk on. Amazon, flagging up. That's one of my favorite names in the long term. I know they have a lot of exposure to China, so it's something to watch out for. Like if we do get that deal, I'm pretty sure Amazon will snap back the hardest. But very similar look where it's just building out a base. We got that double bottom, triple bottom, bear flag look, and now they're coming into resistance. So that's kind of where you usually find that digestion area, which we're in right now. But data, economic data, earnings, those things are going to propel us either higher or lower depending on how it comes out. Netflix, I mean, even in this environment, they're still at all-time highs. It kind of shows you that people are low-key kind of bullish. I feel like there's just so much fear and uncertainty out there, but I just have this feeling that the market really, really wants to explode. And you could see even on indexes. I mean, we're up 18% from the bottom. It's like people are there and present, but they need a little bit more validity. They need a little bit more understanding a China deal or, better earnings and economic data still holding up. There's still some things in question, and I could see why investors are kind of uncertain. But here in the Wise Wealth Discord, we like to build out for the long term. And at any price, especially the cheaper ones, you're better off buying on red days than you are green days. Like when those bad headlines come out, you're better off buying at those days rather than the days where everyone's all euphoric and, oh my goodness, this happened. So as you can see, after those big jump up days, there's usually that big pullback. You want to be buying on the pullback and the bad headlines. I know it sounds backwards, but you kind of have to move backwards in this market. We'll see, though. I'm not completely convinced that we're out of the woods. I do think we have like at least another big retest or another leg lower, but that's just my personal opinion. I can't predict that. That's just kind of where I feel like we are potentially heading, is for another leg lower. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll keep you guys updated in the Discord as we always do. We've had some great plays recently. I love what we're building out here. We just have a great community and plenty of people just paying attention and listening. And I think we're all kind of learning something off of each other. But you could see my reasoning here. It's just kind of like the way Trump's speaking, as he keeps kind of saying that we're still in transition, basically meaning that I'm causing a recession to bring down interest rates so we don't have to pay as much. That's just kind of my personal opinion. I may be completely wrong, but we had some great plays last week. I made over $5,000 in the market in 1 week, and I appreciate you guys just tuning in and paying attention, because I really feel like, I was just about to say, be careful of rolling back stuff hard. Tesla just trap bulls on the false breakout. Jimmy C is always on top of things, just paying attention. I do appreciate you, Jimmy, if you made it this far throughout the video. Thank you, guys. Let's have a great week, and we'll continue to keep you posted throughout the week.